Alright guys, welcome to day 13 of Project Dig. Thanks for joining. We're going to be working on spatial partitioning and trying to wrap that up. We were working on it yesterday, made some good progress, and I think we might be able to finish it today. We'll see. It's kind of cool. I like the direction it's going. It's going to be flexible. So we'll kind of do a recap of what we've done so far, and then dive in. And I just realized I did not have Visual Studio launched. One thing I should mention that I have been thinking about for months and months and months, and finally decided to do it, mostly because there's a deadline, which is I now have a Patreon. Yay! So actually I should probably pull that up. So we have this cool background thanks to Cooler. And yeah, it's pretty basic right now to start with. I just wanted to get something up there because Patreon is changing their plans in the future. I think in a week or so. And yeah, I have some ideas on things I'd like to do, but first I just want to see what people think of it and if people have feedback or anything. I added a Patreon command, and also I added a YouTube command, so you guys are welcome to use those if anyone joins and asks about VODs or anything. I should add more text to those, and I will. But yeah, so is this kind of a basic Patreon? We'll see how it goes. I just added some tiers, and yeah, we'll see. If you guys want to support what I'm doing, I would appreciate it if you do it through Patreon. That's awesome. Of course, you don't have to, only if you are comfortable financially and emotionally to do it. And you just being here is support enough. But if you want to support me financially, then this is a good way to do it. And it's also just shows me it gives me a gauge on the community, and hopefully I can start engaging you guys more outside of just Twitch here. I have YouTube right now. The YouTube videos are have comments disabled. I'd like to add more content to the YouTube channel, but I'm not exactly sure what I want to do with that yet. And yeah, we'll see. I was thinking, so actually the two goals that I have on here is a bi-weekly recap, which is fairly low goal, I think. And then a kind of larger one where we can do monthly developer talks. And so yeah, I'd like to get that content up and write some posts here eventually, and maybe code stuff I can put here. I have a number of thoughts. I'm not sure which ones are good and which ones are throwaway, but I would love to get your feedback on what you would like to see. And yeah, so anyways, we'll get started with development now. Yeah, I'll close that. I'll bring it up every once in a while, but I'm not going to hound you guys or anything. It's something that is appreciated, but it's fortunately not my livelihood right now. Obviously, it's I just started it, but it might be useful later on once we get deeper into the project and career sales will very likely continue to drop off, and the Patreon could be a nice way to help kind of sustain me until launch. But anyways, so getting to the spatial hash. So we're working on this yesterday. We talked about spatial partitioning, and what that means basically means taking the position of the entity and putting it into a cell that corresponds to that position. And so it's just like a grid. And then that will make it very easy for us to query nearby entities just by saying, hey, what's the overlap of this area? Okay, give us all the entities that are in the cells of that overlap. And so we can do stuff like collision checking and bounds, auras, whatever we want. Whenever anything is positional and like comparing it to other nearby things, we will use spatial hash, the spatial hash or spatial partitioning. So the idea here, and I have like a little sketch of how I would like this to work, is that we have a spatial hash that we can create, and that will most likely be living in a world component. Maybe sometimes it'll just be in scope. We'll initialize it and then use it right there. Like if it's not used anywhere else and we don't think it's going to be used anywhere else, then we don't really need to store it. So yeah, we might just create it on the stack inside of the update function for a system. But once it's initialized, and that all that does is sets up the cells and everything, so it's ready to be populated. Then we can do something like this, where we can. If this is only if. So this physics spatial, that is the hash that we would be using. So like if this was in the same scope, we could just actually get rid of that. And it'll just be hash.populate. And what this does, the populate function, it has a template, or it is templated, I should say, which will look for entities that have exactly those components. And so while it's iterating through all the transforms, and I think we have this code written out, yes. While we're iterating through all of the transforms, we will check to see if the entity has the corresponding bits. And if it does, then we will add it to, we'll figure out which cells it belongs to and add it to those cells. And so this is something that we'll be creating or populating at the beginning of a frame. We're not going to be storing this at all, which means we don't have to worry about entities moving. It'll be something that we quickly populate and then throw away at the end. So it only really makes sense to do this for things when we are like comparing it against, like doing a lot of checks. Like let's say if we're looking for if we're looking for sorry, I was just thinking about that. There might be better ways to do this. I'm not sure yet. If we're looking for like a specific entity, like let's say you click and we haven't already created a spatial hash for something else, then it probably would be better to not even make one and just like look to see if there's any entities that are within the bounds that you clicked. Yeah, but we'll probably be trying to reuse it as much as possible during the frame, during that update cycle. Sorry, one sec. I was just notified that the YouTube video from yesterday is finally, or I should say the VOD from yesterday is finally uploaded to YouTube. Okay, cool. Glad that's the case. Alright, so let's dive into this. I think this is good, that's right. We need to figure out that, I think there's like two things that we need to do. One is this query with entity. And I don't remember the other. I guess we'll just start with that. That's right, I remember this. We're starting to work on this query with entity thing. And so query with entities, whenever you're requesting an entity that has a specific component, and so we want to iterate over it, but we want to return a tuple containing the entity ID along with the pool. So I need to figure out how to do that. I was kind of wanting to do that off stream and I completely forgot about it. So we'll have to do it on stream. So we'll have to learn together here. We did it up here, but I don't quite like that. I would like to do something else. If possible. I don't know if I can. Let's clean this code up. Maybe it would be better to just do this iterator thing. There's a lot of stuff in here that we did not use, that, and maybe I can clean it up and it won't be so bad. I don't get why we have so much junk in here. I think this postfix and prefix thing is wrong, by the way. Almost positive it is. Okay, oops. I don't think this is used. We do use that. We don't use that. We do use that. Underlying iterator. We really, I don't know if we want to do it like that. It's probably another way to do it, right? Yeah, I think so. Okay, so I believe this is all cleaned up. Let's fix this postfix and prefix iterator for I forget which one is what. Yeah, it's something more like this. Postfix. So we store it. I see. So that's the difference. So for this, technically what it's supposed to do is have some like temp variable. Let's fix this code up. Is that even right? I guess so. Oh yeah, okay, yeah, sure. That makes more sense. Turn that. Okay. Let's... I don't really like having multiple lines in a single line like that. Much prefer something like this. Let's also put this on another line. Maybe we'll just split everything up onto its own line. Okay. It takes up much more space, but I think it's also much more readable. Hey Froggy, what's up? Welcome everyone. Okay, so what we're going to now do is go down here to our query with entity, and we're going to, just kind of like we do up here, add in our iterator, and we're going to change this. We're actually not going to have an underlying iterator in this class, in our iterator class. We're just going to have, we're going to pass in the world. We need to do that. And we'll have the index start at 0. So we're going to have a, I guess technically it should be like a size T, right? I guess, actually, never mind. It can be a uint32. This is the index. So what we need to do is change this. So like, now this I'm not entirely sure of. I could see the reasoning for doing it the other way, just because it seems inefficient. Like, we're actually technically supposed to be doing, oops, right, iter, increment it, and then do that, which is just increasing. So we're making a copy of the iterator, which is kind of lame. I might just make it so that they do the same thing, to be honest. Like, it's what it was, but I don't know. I guess they're technically not the same still. Maybe I will do it like that. Should just avoid doing the postfix. We should do prefix. Okay, so so continuing to change this. Is it equal? Or that you set to, I see. Sure. I guess that works, kind of. Other world index, other index. Okay. So for this, we don't need that stuff. We just say forward as tuple, the iterator, we actually don't want that. Oh, what we need to do. Oh, this is actually going to change, huh? Yeah, okay, okay. We don't need to pass in the world. Let's pass in the pool. So we want to pass this in. So this is the pool. We'll just rename that to pool and then say pool. Pool. I think that's all good. I don't know if the best way to go about doing this. But so for anyone joining and curious what I'm doing, what I'm trying to add in is support for this right here, where we can say, oh sorry, not that. Maybe it is back here. No, it's in the HPP. This right here, query with entity, where we get the entity and the transform, and this is a tuple that, and we're using structured binding for it. That's what we're wanting to do. So let me fix this. Basically what we're going to be doing is iterating through the pool with this index, and so whenever we do begin, I think I just want, yeah, just like this. So it'd just be, what is this, iterator, pass in the pool, that's it. I guess I do need to pass in where we're at, huh? The index. Come on, come on, come on, come on. You can type index. Okay, and then, so this would be 0. This would be iterator pool. I forget. I think it's like, it might be count is the end. I think so, which is the size. That sounds right then. Hey, Null Yuki, welcome. Okay, so I think that will be good. entity. Yeah, that's what our value type will be. Is an entity ID and a component reference. Yes, that is right. Okay, so I think there's something missing here. Yes, this whole iterator thing right here, that's not right. Get component. Yeah, we need to add in support for this, huh? What we want to do is basically we need to get access to components and entities. Can we what I'd like to do is be able to just say, hey, that's a friend. You can have access to it. Or I guess what I could do is say get component entity and it return both of those. Maybe that's what I should do. Maybe that's what I'll do. Visual. So this would be an entity ID. Yeah. That's the entities. Why am I not storing? Might need to change that. Wait. Oh, I'm storing the entity index in here. I think that's wrong. Let's just store the entire entity. Yeah, let's do that. Swap, that's fine. Indices. Wait, what's this about? Entity. Oh, I want to say it's an entity, not entity ID. Sure is quiet in here today. Everyone busy with weekend stuff? So I should be able to just say index from here. Like that should be fine. Is that the only place that we use the entity directly? I think so. I wonder if we even need to do that. Oh, I see. Got it. Okay, I understand this now. That's right. So what we're doing this because whenever we destroy an entity, we want to swap. We want to keep whatever's in components, like the component list, to be as tightly packed as possible. And so we have, let's say, like 1,000 components allocated and ready to be used by any entities. But we only want the front, or we only want the entity. We only want the components that are being used by entities to be at the front, so it's tightly packed. So we can just say, hey, if there's 30 entities out of the 1,000, or if there's 30 components out of the 1,000 available, then let's just iterate through the 30 that's being used and not even consider the other 970. And so whenever, let's say we delete one of those 30, in order to make sure that the list is tightly packed, let's say that it's, index number 15, so it's right in the middle. What you can do is move it to the end, and we'll just like swap it with the last place one. So the 30th one moves to the 15th position, and the 15th one moves to the 30th position, and then we decrement the count and we say, hey, there's only 29 now, and it's fine, it's good. But we need to know, because we have a mapping of entity ID to where they are at in this list, we need to update that. The 30th one was just moved to index 15. We now need to redirect that. And in order to redirect it, we need to know what entity was at the 30th position and then say, okay, now update its redirect. And that's what this line does right here. So now I just say, let's use the index, because we actually need the entire entity, which is in ID. And so now what I want to do, now that we got that all set up, is have this be, where is that at? I want this to return the tuple. I hate C++ code. Does this look messy? Yeah, so I want to return this thing from here. That's what I'm thinking. But what I don't want to do is have it keep copying. How do you do that? I think there's a way to have it so you can like move. C++ move return. Explicitly move. Yeah, okay. I see. NRVO, the NRVO, what does NRVO mean? Okay, so it will automatically try to move for us. That's nice. Get with entity. Maybe I'll just say at. I might do that. I kind of like that. So it's not a get, it's in like at that position because it's a index. So wait. Yeah. So this would be template type name T. This is component pool T at, and what we want to do is return. This is what we want to do, forward as tuple and return. Wait, hold up. This isn't component. This is T. Return whatever's at entities I, or index, and components index. And we should assert that index is less than count. Components count. Okay, I think that's it. Template. Type name T, entity ID. Okay, I think that's good. That's good. So we can use that in here. So instead of doing this, what we can do is say pool get or at index. Oh my gosh, so bad today. Nice. I like. I think that will work, but I'm not sure. So let's see here. In order to actually try to get this to compile, I think we need to go. I don't think we have anything. Oh yeah, that's right. We wanted to do that yield return thing. That'd be nice. So for anyone joining and that's new to the channel, welcome. Thanks for joining. Working on a new game. I just started. It's a 2D automation survival sandbox game where you play as a robot sent to this planet to investigate why it's in this post-apocalyptic nuclear fallout state. I mean, the answer is it's more of like investigating like who was there type of thing, like what happened. You probably can guess that some disaster happened. And then you lose communication with the scientist that sent you, and you're trying to reestablish communication to, send back data. And so it's all about trying to survive in this environment long enough to achieve that goal. And so it's somewhat like a Factorio meets Terraria type of thing. I'm developing it all on stream here using a custom game engine developed in C++. And yeah, if you have any questions, you're always welcome to ask. Happy to answer. I have VODs up on YouTube, and we're currently working on a Spatial Hash class, so that way we can more easily query entities and what they're up to. And move balls. Yeah, I looked a little bit. I haven't found anything yet. We'll look more after I finish. Well, I think I might be done with that now. I want to compile it and test it. Maybe what we'll do actually is go over here and add in a test. I haven't ran these tests. See if this compiles. And maybe what we'll do is we'll add in a test with query with entity. Has there been any art done for the game yet? No. There's no artist. There probably won't be any art for months and months. We're a ways off from that. I need to kind of start investigating an artist and well, like looking into who I might want to try to collaborate with, but types. Do I really have to do that? What are we using that for? Oh, that. I guess I need to add that in. It's yeah, I'm not really concerned about that. Okay, so let's grab this. Oops. Are you enjoying this engine work? What have you learned already? I have learned a ton, actually. I think I'm enjoying it for the most part. Query with ID. Oh, whoops. I don't think I finished that. Oh, I changed the name. That's why. Right. Query with entity. And it takes exactly one. But yeah, it's good. Like, I haven't done any of this templating before, so I'm learning how to work with templates and structured bindings, and I learned a lot about the entity component systems and how those can work. BGFX, getting all that. Like, I have learned so much in the past 2 weeks. It's crazy, so much. It's a little slower, but I'm learning a ton, which is good because during queries development, I kind of just stagnated and didn't learn anything, and I like learning stuff. It is good. Query with entity, so we just gotta pass that in. And I think that's it. Oh, this needs to be query with entity. Yeah, I think that's good. So we'll go back to this. We'll probably have some more compiler errors. Wait, sorry, what did it say? Reference a deleted function. Oh, it needs this. I don't know how I deleted that exactly. Seems like you made quite a bit of progress for just 13 days. Yeah, I am working on it full time, but yeah, it's been good. Yeah, I don't know. Overall, it's been good. Oh, that spatial hash, this stuff right here is not working, surprisingly. So maybe what I'll just do is yeah, maybe I'll just comment these out for now. Yeah, during queries development, I got impatient a lot. I've talked about this many times where it's just like, I felt like I was behind schedule because that's what I was telling myself. And so anytime I needed to take, like a little bit of extra time to learn something, I would get like kind of frustrated and annoyed and try to cut as many corners as possible. And I think that That wasn't good. Oh, this needs to be indexed. It wasn't a good state of mind to be in. I got the search for the thing. Hey, nice maker. Good job. I knew you could do it. Okay, let's fix this. Ceiling. Let's say you went 32. This is a float. That's fine. Now I need to say static cast UN32 type. That's what this is, right? Yeah. Using operator start on a 4-byte value and then casting the result to a 8-byte value. Cast the value to the wider type if we're calling. Wait, what? Is it because it thinks that it might overflow? Yeah, it's not going to though, okay? Oh, I see. Because resize is expecting size T, which is 8. As a solo dev, what helps you the most to motivate yourself? I found that when something doesn't work how I expected it to, and I have trouble making it work, I get very demotivated. I don't have that when I work in a team. I feel like that might be two separate questions, but what helps motivate me the most is just that. Well, streaming helps a lot. Besides that, because I know streaming's not for everyone. I guess just like seeing the progress. I don't know. I like coding, so coding is actually fun for me. Okay, let's see if this runs and still works. We haven't actually ran this for a while. Coding is fun. Hey, we failed. We should figure out why that is. This is also a job, so I kind of know I need to do it. But yeah, I think a lot of it is streaming. I don't know. That's kind of like you say that it's hard to do it when you're by yourself, but it's easier when you're with a team. And I kind of think of like streaming, I'm doing that with the team. There's like some pressure, accountability. There's also like a schedule. Well, I try to keep myself to a schedule. So I would try to replicate that as much as possible. Maybe streaming isn't the option, but perhaps going to a workspace and like a co-workspace and working there. So maybe you're by yourself, but you can still be working in a community. You can show off what you're working on, talk to other people, share ideas. Maybe join like a Discord channel if you can't go to a workspace, or something along those lines, like some community. Join a community or form a community and then just pretend like you're in a team even though you're working by yourself. I worked at a co-work space for a while, and it's awesome. I love doing it. The only downside to it is that I like to also stream, and those two things kind of compete with one another. I was in Australia for like 3 months, and I was actually streaming there in a co-work space. But it was kind of a little weird and awkward, maybe. I felt kind of like cooped up streaming whenever everyone else is like around talking, but it was still good. I still liked it, but if I was working in a co-work space again, I might just like not stream. But that's not gonna happen, so because I live in the middle of nowhere now. Okay, so this is 182. So it's trying to do this thing over here. So we tried to remove this transform, and it failed. Why is that? Let's go debug this. Oh wait, that's not what I want. Let's just set that as our startup, so then I can press F5. Yeah, I hope that helps. It's definitely hard. There's no magical fix that says, oh yeah, just drink this thing, and then you magically have all the motivation in the world. Everyone's different, except that I think everyone struggles with motivation to some degree. Okay, so we should have removed this. So let's go into here. Okay. I'd like to... Oh, come on. Oh, there we go. Has. Entity bits. Oh, I changed this. That's right. I did change that. Maybe this isn't getting changed properly when we remove an entity. Sure, that entity has the component before destroying it from the corresponding pool. Oh yeah, right here. We don't change it. Aha, we found a bug. Nice. What we need to do... So component bits.test for that. Bits set. Wait, what's the... Set, test, reset. Alright, let's go look at what the bit set is doing. Bit set. Test, size, count, bit operations, set bits, reset bits. So I'm guessing reset bits. Okay, yeah, that's right. So that basically just sets it to 0. Got it. TID. So what this is saying now is get the bits for that entity, check to see if we have it. If we do, destroy the entity from the corresponding pool, which means go into there and remove the component. And then lastly, we want to reset the bit for that entity. So that should be fixed now. Two views with slightly different code requirement. Duplicating code, yuck. Yeah. I mean, if it's only copied to one other place and it's kind of different, then that's not too bad. Okay, so this should pass now. Hey, oh, there we go. Nice. Fixed it. So let's add in another check, which is entity query on multiple components. On a single component, let's copy this and say on a single component with entity. And then what we should be able to do is say query with entity. Oh, I was like, wait, what? And now we should be able to do this entity, comma, transform. I don't think we actually need to do that anymore. Query, and I don't know what we should do with that. Prefab 2. How do you improve features that lack a spark? I created a prototype for a core game feature, but I already feel that it's not going to be fun and needs improvement. Have a couple of ideas, but maybe you can share your approach. Sure. So I'm not that great at prototyping stuff. I think I have a lot to learn, and applying theory to practice is always tougher than it sounds. You're like, oh, you just have to do this, but that's hard. But I think how you should go about prototyping features is trimming off as much fat as you can. This is something that I've slowly been learning, and I'm still learning, is try to get rid of like all the extra features that like make it sound more appealing, and try that out. Try to get that good, because if you can get that core part fun, then adding in all the other like fluff features is going to just it will make it feel a lot better. But so like you can make, I guess you can kind of think of it as like the whole like you can't polish a turd type of thing. It's like no matter how much juice you add to it, it's still going to be a piece of crap if you like have this bad system. And adding on all that extra stuff can distract you from that fact that it might not be a good feature by itself. And so I recommend getting rid of as much as you can and just focusing on the core pieces. So like that's something that I was trying to do for projectDIG. I got distracted with all the extra like bells and whistles. I was like, oh, we can do this cool feature with researching, and we can do this other thing with having the item, or what is it called? Like, I guess really it's the whole programming for furnaces or like processors and researching, and I got distracted with that, and I kind of got distracted with like hooking up the little parts. And the like last version of the prototype, I just like took out a ton of that stuff. I was like, let's just play around with this, like moving items around on the conveyor belt and like shooting items around. Like, is that fun? Like, it is. I think it is fun. And that's something that you haven't really seen in these games. Like, so I feel like it's a compelling feature, and it's something that hasn't really been done much. What is section and requires that for unit testing? Yes. You can check out It's catch2. If you look in that link, the dig.siegegames.com, that will bring you to this page over here, which has links to all the libraries we are using. So yeah, I would recommend making sure you just remove any extra stuff that you've added on top of this feature that you're trying to fix, and just focus on that feature in the purest form possible. And that will make it so that you don't have to, like, you know, you might have an idea like, oh, let's try this direction, but if you add a bunch of like stuff onto it trying to, you know, make it fancier, then it's just going to be harder to like pivot and change the direction that you're wanting to go with it, or, you know, experimenting. So try to be as light as possible while you're exploring the that like the root of the feature. I fell asleep yesterday in the middle of the stream. Welcome back. I've been told that my voice can be soothing at times. I don't know if that's actually true, but I've been told that. Okay, so what I want to do here is... maybe we don't really need... I guess we could do that. Do we really care about that? Ugh. I guess we could do this. Let's just see if it works. Okay, it's not working. Cool. Wait, what? It says it's passing, but it also gave me a warning. What was that warning? Size T to UN32. Ah. I'm surprised that didn't complain. Interesting. I haven't seen this before. There's a bunch of stuff in catch.hpp. That's all catch stuff. Okay, I don't care about catch stuff. All right, so it's working. Cool. So now we can get the entity ID with the transform, which means that we can actually do this code in the HPP file. This right here is now valid. Query with entity. So that's awesome. That's cool. Glad we got that working. What we should do is, once we get this all up and running, we should write some unit tests for the spatial hash to make sure that it's working. You know, like set it up, put some entities and like some locations, and then do some queries on them and making sure that it's returning the correct entities. Do you have any hobbies? I mean, I do other things sometimes. I don't know if I'd call them hobbies. I've been watching Star Trek Voyager with my wife Kelly for the last year. We watch, I guess it's on average like one episode every other night or something like that. We typically will like watch an episode a night for like 2 weeks or something, and then take like a week off. Yeah, I've seen it before. It's good. Kelly has not seen Voyager. I told her I think my favorite might be Deep Space Nine. It's tough between Deep Space Nine and Next Generation, but we were talking about maybe watching Deep Space Nine after that. Doing yard work recently, not too much, but some. Yeah, I don't really have like any hobbies that people think of as hobbies. Like not right now. Like I used to play guitar and piano, but I don't anymore. You only have so much time in a day, and you have to pick and choose what you spend your time on. And I've kind of just made my choice that like doing game development takes a lot of time. I spend a lot of time like recently prepping. Like you don't see me do a lot of stuff that I have to do for this project and for other things, like researching how to do certain features like the entity component system and all the different ways. I've spent probably a few dozen hours, maybe not a few dozen, but like 10 to 20 hours at least reading on it and watching videos about it. And I have to like upload videos to YouTube, and I have to like design stuff and think about it, and yeah. Recently growing chili is nice. Coffee, I guess. I don't actually do much with it besides consume it, but that is an interest of mine. I've never watched Star Trek Enterprise. I heard it was kind of a weaker one. I don't know. Like, I feel like after Deep Space Nine, they kind of just like lost the heart of Star Trek. Even even Discovery is not really Star Trek. Maybe it's just that TV has changed since then, over the last 20 years. There's like, I think one episode in the first season of Discovery where I'm like, this feels like a Star Trek episode. And that was cool. But for the most part, I didn't really... it was okay as a TV show. It was definitely not Star Trek. And then there's some things that I just didn't really like. Anyways, so I think we now need to figure out how to get this spatial hash working with yielding the queries or doing something along these lines. So I'll kind of go over those, like what I'd like to do here, and we can keep trying to figure that out, or like looking that up. So the idea here is that we want to query some, we populate the spatial hash with all of the entities from the world that have the corresponding component that we want, and then we want to make queries on the spatial hash. So we can say like, hey, give us all of the entities that are within this bounds, this area. And I'd like to be able to yield that. I think I can make an iterator, and maybe that's what I need to do here. It's like what I just did. Which sounds kind of a pain, but maybe that's what I need to do. So the cheap way to do this would be to create a new list, add the entries to the list, and then return that list. I would like to avoid that though, if possible. The only advantage to that is if we ever wanted to stash that query, which I guess we couldn't. I could see that being useful if we wanted to be like, hey, let's get all of the entities that are on screen. And then just store that. I don't know. I don't know if it's really needed. So what we want to do here is the tricky part about this is that the cells is a vector of vectors of cell entries. And so what we want to do is iterate over the cells and kind of like just push back all of the entities that are within that that list, which wouldn't be too bad here. So we would have like result append or whatever, all of the entity, like this entire thing, but that's not really possible here. And then also it gets a little messier over here where we want to have this check first, and so we have to iterate through all of the entries to see if it's within the bounds because we're doing this query cold. So we were looking yesterday to see if there's a way to do this, and I did not see any. Which is a C++, like a yield iterator or keyword, something like that. Generator function. Yeah, basically a generator. Interesting. I don't really like how that looks. Yeah, I think we just need an iterator. That's like what it comes down to. Okay, so time to write yet another iterator. It's writing all these iterators. I probably should learn how to do it better. Like, I'm kind of understanding how it's working for the most part. Like, this one is better. I have a better understanding after doing this. So yeah. What I guess we'll do is add it in here. I don't know, how do you do structured binding with the struct? I want to see that structured binding struct. I should have said like, okay, I guess that works. I think I remember. Okay, yeah. So does it just work like that? No, thank you. Make tuple, return to tuple to make it work with std tie. So wait, that just works? I guess so. So you can, it just takes it. Okay, cool, nice. So that should just work then. What we can do is return the cell entry and use structured binding on it, and it should just work. So it will always return, the value type is going to be a cell entry, and do we want to make a reference? No, oh, this is where we might want to have it be different, huh? I made a script that detects local Wi-Fi networks, and if there's more than 6 devices connected to a single Wi-Fi network, it will start to disconnect some of the devices from that Wi-Fi. Like, you can actually do that? That sounds evil. Couldn't you then just like... Is that possible? Because then you could just make it so it disconnects all devices always, and then you could just like shut down people's computers, or internet, I should say. That'd be evil. I don't know how you would get access to like being able to disconnect them, but it sounds like you know. Okay, so this iterator, I don't even know what we want to do with this yet. I guess what we need to do is do what we were doing in here, right? Where we iterate over the cells. There are ways to force older Wi-Fi gear to disassociate. I see. That sounds pretty evil. So we need to do the, so we can like calculate all of the cells, and so that's good. The challenge comes with this. Right? The best way I can think of it is like a lambda, which sounds kind of gross, unappealing, something I wouldn't want to do, and honestly could just make it be slower. Or have multiple iterators. I guess that could kind of work. Kind of wondering if an iterator ends up just being more expensive than pushing to a list. Maybe you're right. Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe we shouldn't do it like this yet. We'll see if it's even a problem, because this is definitely adding a lot of complexity for like basically no gain, since I just saw that we can do structured binding on this. That was one thing I was thinking like would be nice, is to do structured binding with the entity and the bounds, but sounds like we can. Okay, so then that makes this much simpler, because all we have then is it's going to be a cell entry list. So let's actually do a using cell entry list, which is this right here. And then this will return a cell entry list. And so then this just becomes result, like what I said before. Oh, this, yeah, this one would be result. There's a like pushback or something, append, right? Insert, yeah, insert. Dang, that's kind of annoying. Okay. We have to do multiple lines here. Insert, because we want to store this. So this is a cell entry list. Cells. Oh, you can. Oh, wait, hold up. Oh yeah, I forgot. I need to say result dot end. We just want to append it. Yeah, there we go. We want that. Okay, that's return result. Result append or pushback entry. Bounds entry dot bounds should work. Return result. This one doesn't work because we don't have a get distance function yet. I'm really surprised that SDL does not have a get distance. Right? Maybe they do in point. Maybe they do from point. Oh, never mind, it's right here. Well, I guess I can add it in. I don't know where I want to put it. What I might do for now, this is like probably not good to do, but I'm just gonna throw it in here. And where's that at? Distance. We don't care about the loop width stuff. X. I don't know if I need to do that anymore. Plus Y. Oh, I see. It's because I want the square root. I mean, in this case, I technically could just do... Wait, is this a int? Oh, vec2 is a float. Oh, I suppose I need 2 of those then, huh? There's vec2 and then there's like int vect. That's right. And with that, I should really cast it to a float. Oops. Before we try to square root it. And int vect should be an int. Okay, good. So we could just say that this is an int. Is it because this needs to be double? I see. I guess it wants me to first cast it like this. No, that's not the case. Wait, what does square root take? It's a float. I don't get this error message. Using operator star on a 4-byte value and then casting the result to an 8-byte value. I'm not casting it though. Is it just being automatically casted? Hey maker, take care. Cast the value to the wider type before calling operator star. So is it wanting it to be double then? Is that going to satisfy it? So it's then, that's 8 bits, right? And now it says that it can't do this because it's a float. I see. So I guess it technically wants me to do this. Are you happy now? I feel like that would still be problems because then it's downcasting to a float in square root. I don't get this. I think it's just being stupid. I'm going to ignore that. Square root f. Oh, wait, what? What's the difference between these? They both take... a float, right? Well, that fixes that. Don't they both take a float though? Thanks. It calls square root and then casts it to a float. Wait, that's square root long. Oh, I see. It's because it's a double. Okay, gotcha. Thanks. Okay. So now we have this get distance. It does exist now. We have this. What's wrong with this? Bounds, entry dot bounds. This should. Wait, it returns a STL bool? Why? Anyways. Can't convert rect to const rect pointer? Oh. Why does it want to have the pointer? Okay, whatever. Cell entry list. Okay, I think we got that set up right. Okay. What I think I'm gonna do here is actually change this to be an int vect. And then add in an overload for this that has that. Maybe I'll do it on this one. And this is going to call turn query cold position. I guess it's technically just int. Does that work? Entry.bounds.y. Okay, cool. So if we query it for a float, we're just cast it to an int. Return that. Okay, so let's try this. What we'll do is we'll create a new unit test for it. Let's see here. What do we do with this? World ECS. Thinking how I want to do this. I guess we'll just copy this. Require world count, whatever. Does that start? Is that this? Yeah. So we're going to maybe we'll start with like something super basic. We can do something like this where we can say create this entity and the world, and perhaps what we'll do is we'll just say world get transform for that entity, and we want to transform component. We want to set the position equal to I. So that'll be like 1 1, 2 2, 3 3, 3 4, etc. Yeah. Maybe I should change that. What if we do that times 4, so that'd be 40, 16. Let's do times 16. Maybe. I don't know if I want them to be evenly spaced. What if we do like this? So then it would be the first one 0, 0. Actually, let's that one's not interesting. Let's do right. Actually, maybe it is interesting to see if we get something at 0, 0. It should be inclusive, right? It should be inclusive. Are we doing it inclusive? Has intersection. I don't know if intersection does. This is inclusive. So that'd be 0, 0, 16, 8, 32, 16, 48, 16. And so it kind of just goes down a line. I think that's okay for how we want to like query stuff. It's probably fine. What I'm thinking of doing is then we need to create a spatial hash and then initialize it. Let me add in the include engine spatial hash. We need the pp file 8pp. Okay, so world size is a vec2, which will be, how big do we want the world to be? Let's say 256 by 256. Cell size, let's give it a 32. How does that sound? So that means 32, we will have 8 cells. Will be 8 by 8. Is there a way to assert that? I don't think so. I guess if we got the width and height, or the size. Wait, what's the size again? Size. Oh, that's the size of the world, right? No. What is the size? Cell size. Ah. Okay. Maybe what I'll do is expose these. I don't know if I will actually use that. We'll expose the size as well. So then we can do this require, right? Require that the hash size is 32 and oops, let's do this. Let's say that the height, width. Maybe we should make these be a different size, huh? Let's do 512. So the width should be 16, and the height should be 8. Okay. I might move this to a utility class, maybe, or a utility file. Perhaps. I know this isn't really hurting anything, but eventually this file is going to get stupid large if we put everything in it. Okay, so let's write some more tests. Let's do a query on a single component. Yeah, so I want to add in a section. What do we want to do with this? I guess we want to populate it. Hash populate. So right now we're only creating this prefab. Maybe what we could do is do different prefabs or do something else with that. Maybe we'll do it like this. We could say that's fine. And then we could do prefab 2 and flip these. Technically, this could be put into one line. Yeah, so then so they say transform component. So we want to populate it. We need to pass in the world. And let's just do a simple query of hash query area is, let's do 0 28 or 0 0 28 28 and say that count or size, I mean, should be equal to 2. Which are these two? Spatial hash can do simple query. Okay, let's just try that. That's like the most basic. Make sure that works, and then we can add in some more complex tests afterwards to make sure it's working. Uh-oh. Oh yeah. That's my bad. That's me being lazy. Okay, let's actually add in a util and utility. Maybe I'll just call it math for now. So this would go into include utility. And take this. So we need to just include types. And then I need to add in the CPP file and move the implementation to that. So this needs to change the source, math, and then we'll just copy this, include utility math, and then we need to delete this. Okay. Seems good. What I'll probably end up doing is also like go into here, and where I have this like SDL has intersection, I might just replace that, or say, yeah, maybe I'll do it right now. Just say has intersection or something along those lines. And in math dot here we can just say using has intersection is equal to that. Does that work? Can you do that? It's not a type name. Oh, you can't do it with functions. I guess you have to wrap it like that. Okay, I wasn't sure if you could. Yeah, apparently you can't. Bool has intersection. Maybe I'll do construct rect. Are we winning at programming today? I think so. I'd like to think so, at least. Yeah, I think we are. Has intersection. Return SDL has intersection. Rect 1. Rect 2. So then we could just use that. Spooky name change. Hey, Jack Joker. Good to see ya. I hope things are going well. I think it's been quite a while, right? Do you also know Ruby? I used Ruby a long time ago with RPG Maker, like 2003. So it was like 15, 16 years ago. So I would probably say no. I'm inclined to say no. I don't remember the syntax, or like I could probably pick it back up, but I haven't used it in over a decade. I'm ill, but other than that, things are going better. That sucks to hear. I hope that you get better soon. If you can, and if you can't, then I hope that you have a lot of pain medicine. I'm sorry. Going to do some volunteer work for a developer. Nice. 24 is equal to 2. Okay, so that's definitely wrong. So let's go here. Dang, good luck with that, man. Okay, so we're gonna clear the cells. We have 128 cells. Oh, that's right. So that right there is wrong. So I need to fix that. I forgot that we changed that. World contains entity bits. This should always be true. So right now, I don't think they ever span multiple cells. I should probably do that on purpose. Dang. Rip Joker. We don't need to profile right now. I was wanting, oh wait, whoops. To pin that. (16.8). Oh, whoops. I went a little too far. Okay, let's go. I want to see what it looks like in the end, I guess. So we'll jump into query. Not that. I want to go to here. Zero, zero, one, one. Seems right. 28. Is it inclusive? Yes. So what does our cells look like right now? 4, 6, 3, 1, 0, 0, 0, 0. That looks right. So we say, okay, let's add into our result all of those 4 cells. Oh, you know what? Wait, did I get that right? So this is 6. 4 and 6. Wait, what's the bounds again? Bounds is 0 and 28. So 0 and 28 divided by the size, which is 32. Oh, I see what the problem is. I see part of the problem. It still doesn't make complete sense. Is that it's rounding up in both cases. We don't want that. So we should remove that. Yeah. Okay. That should make it a little bit better. And I also noticed that down here, I changed this, and so now we have suddenly 4 times as many, which is 128. How's progress going? Hey, Avery. It's good. It's good. size. Oh, whoops, my bad. I did the wrong thing. The width. Oh, maybe never mind. I did get that right. I don't know what I'm saying. Confident in jumping in and handling games and communities. Nice, that's good. Games definitely need community managers nowadays. That's for sure. Like, as games become more of like a service and there's, you know, these online communities that become established around games, it's absolutely like a big need. Like, I actually just saw Concerned Ape, the developer of Stardew Valley, looking for a community manager. Well, he was looking for like an all-star person who was comfortable doing a lot of things, including community management. Hey, Claudius. Where was that awesome handy-dandy list of commands Nightbot would tell us? You mean the one that was on my channel? Yeah, let me find the post for you. He wants like you to be able to not just do community management, but also like handle like all of the aspects of the business, basically, just so he can like focus on programming, I think. Probably the best place is to look at Concerned Ape's Twitter. Let me find it. Oh, he closed it. Probably like the same day. But yeah, you can see what he was asking for. He wanted like HR, community. It's too bad you didn't see this. I think he also wants you to be working there. Like at the office. Do you mean that command, Claudius, or something else? Okay, let's take another look at this. Okay, I don't want to break into catch. I think there's a way to tell it not to do that, but I forget. It's kind of complicated. So how is it that we have 4 within the first cell? Oh, that's right, because they're at 0, 0. That's actually makes complete sense. I forgot about that. So there should be 4 there. Okay, I need to remember 0, 0. And then what we should do, can do simple query. Can do query with calling. And let's do this. Query cold. And let's put it at 1, 1, and now it should only give us 2. Do we really need to repopulate every time? I don't think so. Maybe we'll do it like that. And then we can do a bunch of other things. One thing I'd like to do is add maybe like a few more on the edge. Like maybe put one at, because the 24 by 24. Oh, that's true. So actually that's right. They're already on the edge. Never mind, because it's 24 by 24, which means the ones at 16 will bleed over into the neighboring ones. So if we do, let's do this. Can check oh, that's true. Is that I didn't even think about that. No. We're adding the entry to multiple cells, which means that when we do a query, we're actually adding it to multiple locations, which kind of stinks. How should we handle that? Because we don't want to, whenever we're doing a query, we don't want to like hit the same entity multiple times. What's the best way to do that? Also drinks water. Yeah. So I could like keep track of the entity ID in some like set or something like that I could query every single time I check the entity, but that seems so bad. Right? That just seems horrible. Yeah, that wouldn't even make sense. It would make more sense to just have the result be like a entity set. I think that's like the only solution I can think of. Like I could make it be like a set on that's the best thing I can think of, is that cell entry list is a yeah. I guess we can do it like that. I don't know of a better way. So we need to change this. Instead of a cell entry list, what we really need is something more like an unordered set. Is that a thing? Yes. And then, child is sad. Oh, you guys can hear Kaylee. I was thinking you might be able to, but wasn't sure. Yeah, Kelly just left for an appointment, and the uncle is over watching her. She doesn't want mommy to leave. Poor baby. Oh, she found out I'm here. Oh, she wants daddy. Give me 1 minute. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Little Kaylee raging all over the place. Yeah, mommy gone now. Mommy gone. Mommy gone now. That's her like mantra whenever Kelly leaves. Mommy gone now. Mommy gone. Or she say, Mommy now. Mommy now. Which is the same thing I say whenever I'm upset. So it makes sense. Okay, so how is Project Screensaver going? It's good. We're just working on trying to get the spatial hash set up and working well. So I realized that we have a problem here with the entry set, which is that we should only have a handful of, or we should have them be unique. The results query called, and so in order to make this work, I need to be able to have a hash. Whoops, I also have to change that. I need to be able to hash this. Does that not have an insert? It should. Oh, I see. Dang. So I can't do that, huh? So, well, it's more of that. This is a list, and we need to insert them here. I don't know if that insert, we have to have it be from another list, right? Which means I think that we have to actually do this, which sucks. Oh well. I guess that's this. Result, pushback. Or I don't think it's pushback anymore, is it? Like add, insert, find, insert. Maybe it's this insert entry. That is it. Okay, so got that. I need to make it so that this has a special way to hash it. I honestly like never have really, oh, I shouldn't say never. I've only done that like once or twice. I know I did it with my entity here. He ordered compare, and here's the compare function. So we can do that. This is a cell entry compare operator. This is a cell entry, so we can compare them, and all it needs to do, go over into here, is compare the entity ID. Really just the entity ID or the index, right? Yeah. Entry, cell, entry, compare, operator, cell, entry, and then this is not a pointer, entity index. Dot entity index. Okay. So with that, then I think what we do is we need to say that this uses that compare class And I think that's it. We can double check that. If we look at entity forward, I believe compare. Entity compare. Oh, we need the hasher. I'm guessing that's in here as well. Yes. I guess I need to also add in the hasher. Fail. Yeah, I've like never really, oh, I shouldn't say never. I've barely done this. Cell entry hasher. I wonder if there's like a better way to do it now. Cell entry. Is it possible to do something like that, or does it have to be exactly this? Cell entry. We might be able to use like the default one, or maybe not actually, because what we need to do, unary. I told it to include or add the include unary function. It's coming from functional. Okay, cell entry hasher. Cell entry const returns a site. Is this really right? I don't know. Entry entity index. Seems fine. This doesn't seem right though. Cell entry hasher. We'll see what it says. Yeah, it still can't find that. SX. He codes too much. Hey, welcome. Okay, that seems wrong. Deprecated in C++ 11, removed in 17. Oh, okay. It was removed. Aha. So there must be better ways to do this. Okay, let's look at C++. Hasher. Unordered map, hash function. How do you create your own? I think if you take that off, oh really? Just take this. Okay, so I can do this from the looks of it. Which is fine, I think. Okay, cool. Thanks. Yeah, I didn't see that it was deprecated. Check for straddling. Straddling. How do you spell straddling? Is that right? Oh, whoops. I was missing an R. That's important. Check for straddling. Yeah, I think that's fine. So let's do this. Let's do 17 to 17 to 33. Is that good? So how many should that have? Can I show you a C++ joke? Sure. So we would have, in 1717, we would have 1, we would have 2, I think we have 2 exactly, right? Straddle, but they should be unique. And so this is also checking for uniqueness. It all compiles, right? Yeah. Oh, whoops, it broke. Oh no, 4 and 8. Am I miscounting? Okay, let's try this. I was wanting to see what that returned. Four and 8. Yeah, that doesn't seem right. Oh, duh. It has some more. Because there are some at... There's one at 3216. That one should not be included. 3216. Oh, wait. It is. Never mind. It is. There's one at 3216, and then there's also one at 1632. So there should be at least another 2. I think there should be 4 here. But it seems like they're being doubled, which means that... yeah, maybe we have that wrong. The whole, like, uniqueness thing. Okay, let's go to here. Maybe I should actually just stop right here. Wait, what? 4 is not equal to 2? I thought I put a breakpoint here. Oh, whoops. I'm doing the cold. I forgot about that. I see, right. I don't want the culling. Right. This should definitely be 4 then. I was so hung up on the top left corner, I totally was forgetting about everything else. That, like, they are 24 by 24. So that means that this will include the one at 0, 0. So really what I should be checking is like 25, 25. And then it should only include... It should include the one at 16. There's one at 8. Oh wait, so there's 8, 16. But then the next one's at 30. Yeah, so it should have 2 in this case. Okay, yes. That makes a lot more sense now. And so let's also put it at 25, 25, which means... So this is going across multiple cells. So I think that should be 4 now. Yeah, because it's the entire bounds, the rectangle. I forgot about that. Yeah, let me... Well, I guess I can just run it and see if it works. I might now. Nope. 62, 64. Okay, well, at least I have a better idea of what's going on. Let's set breakpoints in both of these. We'll skip the first one. Now we're at the cold. So that should be... Wait, what? Result... Doesn't have any. Wait, why do I have to keep pressing F5? What's going on here? Why is this being weird? Must be because of this whole insertion thing. Okay, so now it has 6. They are unique. Because it's including, so it has 16, 8, 8, 16, 16, 32, 24, 48. Oh wow, I just totally did not even consider all of these. I mean, it looks like this is working. I just didn't actually, maybe how I set it up was bad. Because that looks like it's working. So maybe I just set that test up bad. Yeah, maybe we should change that. Let's simplify this. Let's just make it be like this. So it adds in increments of 16, and they're 24 by 24, which means that they can overlap some. So they're just going down across the screen, and they're overlapping by 8 pixels. And let's just do it that way. It'll make it so much easier for me to kind of think about this. So then that means that this should still have 4, right? So it would have, oh sorry, no, it would have 2. So this is gonna have 2. Query with culling. So if we do 25 to 28, we should only have 1. Check for straddling across cells. So I think this is okay. We should have 2. And if it wasn't unique, it would be 3. Okay, I think that's better. What now? What I might try doing, I guess I kind of do that here with the culling. Maybe I will just do that as like 26, 26. Let's try check for, or maybe do can do radius query. And so that's going to be at a specific position. Let's say we put it at 40, 40. And we say that the range is 32. Let's say 40. So what is that going to include? It's going to, oh wait, 40 will include the first one. Let's actually not do that. Let's do 30. So, right, actually it still will include it, I think. Oh, it won't, because the distance is from the top left. I wonder if that's okay. This, yeah, I didn't even think about this. Whenever we do the get distance, is the position from the bounds X and Y. Like, maybe it really should be from the center of the bounds, which would be then we would want bounds width divided by 2. Bounds height divided by 2. That's technically more correct. I don't know if I like this. You know, I think I'm not going to do that. Most of the time we don't really care for it to be that precise. And it's a lot of extra work against all of the entities. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's really worth it. So this would include the 16 by 16, the 32 by 32, the 48 by 48, and the 64 by 64. So that's 4. I think that's it. Oh. Failed still. 25. It's got 2? That has to be wrong. That has to be wrong. And this one only got 2. $16 by 16. Oh no, wait. How many did it get? It got 4? I don't think that's right. Let's look at this. We'll look at this one too. Oops. Zero, zero. Oh, whoops. We want to skip that one. 4, 4. Yes. So it's giving us 0, 0, 16, 16, 32, 32, and 48, 48. That has to be wrong, right? What's this? Left cell. Oh, I'm not doing a culling. I really need to remember that. Okay, that makes more sense. Well, how about this other one? I put at 25, 25 thinking it's not going to include the first one, but I'm not culling it, so it does. The one at 0, 0. And then also we include the one at 48, 48 because that's in the second cell as well. Okay, unfortunately this is kind of lame. I guess I should change this. So this ends up only having 2, right? Which is 32, 32, and 48, 48. So I guess I need to figure out why is it skipping the one at... I'm going to change this. It's being weird with not having these. Whenever I try to do the breaks or I step through it. Okay. So let's actually change this. Say that is fine, and then we're going to say straddling cells with culling. And this one is what I was originally thinking, and that should be a 2. And maybe we'll do one thing, which is like, let's just include the entire thing. So we say query the entire world. Again, or like, is providing unique entities. And what we'll do is we'll just say it's from 0, 0 to the world size, which is 512 by 256. And the size should be 10, which is what we have up here. So what happens if we try to query on an invalid position? I guess I should try that too. Can query invalid position. Let's do -1, -1. Or maybe we'll do like -10, -10, 5, 5. And that should just give us 0. I think right now it will probably freak out because this is, yeah, I don't make sure that this is valid. So I should most likely do this. Well, we can test it and we'll see it actually is going to freak out on us. So I'm glad I'm testing that. Should also do one out of the bounds of the world. So maybe do like 520 by 260. And it should also give us 0. So like, yeah. There's something else I was wanting to do. What was that? There's this position thing. Maybe that was it. Oh yeah, I did want to break on that. Query cold. Yeah, there we go. That's where it freaks out because we are getting an invalid position. 8 times 16. Wait, did this one pass? Kind of surprised that would pass. -10 divided by the size. Oh, it would go to 0. I see. So this would break if it was greater, like let's say -40. Then it should fail on that one. Bounds. No, it's still working. Okay, I don't know why that's still working. Anyways, what we should do is say, and here, if cell, oh wait, no, I guess we need to calculate this. Right? . We shouldn't have to. We shouldn't have to do it inside of the for loops. Because we know it's bad if the bottom cell or right cell are beyond the width or height, right? So what if we just do a min and max on those? This would be height. How about this one? I guess the same deal. The problem with this is that then it's going to still include it even if I feel like this is wrong. I should do it like that. This will be wrong if it starts in an invalid place. I guess it would have to be completely within invalid space. This is probably fine, honestly. I think this is fine. So this is the same, right? These are the same. Whoops. And this is close to the same. Close. All right, wrong one. Okay. So now it should never be able to go out of bounds. Oh, whoops. I do want to make sure that this is being checked properly. So our position is 40-40, radius is 30. And what's the left cell and right cell? That's good. It's too quiet. Yeah, no one said anything for like half an hour. I know, that happens at times. I think people are busy. It's the weekend. I'm not surprised it's slower on the weekend. There's also like John Blow I saw was streaming, and also Handmade Hero, so it's all good. Just means I can focus more on work, right? You guys are welcome to ask any questions. I'm okay with that. I promise I don't bite. I was watching them for a bit. Nice. Yeah, I was like, oh, they're streaming? Maybe I should watch them. I'm like, no, I need to stream myself. Okay. So, let's see here. So let's look at these entries. We should stop right there. So what's the distance? What does this return? 56. Oh, I think I see. Yeah, that makes more sense. So this is not... What does that return? 33.9. Yeah. That makes sense because it's at 16, 16. 16 from 30. Yeah. Okay, I understand now. This is actually working properly. Again, it's just that my test is wrong because I'm not thinking about the results enough. So the problem is that I was just thinking like 16 or 30 or what is it? It's like 40 minus 16 is less than 30, right? But I'm checking the distance. And it's so yeah, it's not quite that. You know, it's this square the x and y distances and then add those together and then do the square root. And so if I do 35, then that works. Wish I could stream. John Blow was doing more level design than programming. Streaming's not too hard. This is something you have to practice. Okay. Still failing here. Let's figure out why. Thanks, Code/year. Yeah, I mean, you can do streaming if you really want. It takes a lot of time and energy, but it's rewarding as well. I'm also, like, I actually am really interested in John Blow's level design. I think he makes really good games. Like, I enjoyed both Witness and Braid. And I think that developing or like designing puzzle games is kind of a challenge. And I think he does a good job with it, so I'd like kind of would like to learn how to do that. Or at least like what his technique is. Okay, so why is this a 3 instead of a 2? And why is that one a 3 instead of a 1? Query cold. 25, 25, 26, 26. Oh, whoops. Wow, I was really doing that, wasn't I? I meant to do it like that. Eight. I don't know why I was like, oh yeah, this is, let's, I was like specifying the starting positions and the end positions instead of the actual like width and height. I don't know why I did that. I'm just going to say I'm tired. 10? 0? Wait. Which one is this? 3 or 4? $520, $260. Oh, whoops. Yeah, I totally messed that up. Another fail. Man. Okay, once we get this working, I probably need to call a stream. I am not doing too well here, huh? I was always starting at 0. Hey! All the tests passed! There we go! We got it working! Yay! What is this section and require testing system? It's called Catch 2. You can get a link over there, or you can just Google for Catch 2. It's pretty nice. Makes testing fairly trivial. Okay, so we finally got that working. Wow. But that's good. We have a spatial hash with some calling and querying, and it makes sense. And I just realized I want to... Dang. I want to... Okay, how about this? This is what we'll do. I just remembered something, which is I want to be able to make another like hash and query on like a unique type. So what we'll do is this. We have our prefab 2 in here already. Or a unique, or a different type of component. So we're gonna do a lot of this again. Let's do, is there a render component? Do they both have render components? That one only has transform. Oh, it's physics. Okay, then let's do a check on physics component. Oh, whoops. Hash 2. Hash 2 initialize. Populate. That's what I want. Yes, and then we can do, we just want to make sure that whenever we do this, we are only getting the filtered ones, right? Can do simple query, can populate hash with specific component type. Oh, and I want to be able to do multiple as well. Oh, that's maybe I need to change this then. Maybe we'll change this so perhaps they can both have like a render component. Render component. I don't think I need that. We'll just add the component. Oh, whoops, I need to actually create it, right? We'll do render, pushback, render. And then we'll add in the render one over here too. So then we can do it for a specific one, and what we'll do is query, and we'll include to like 40, 40. And so this should be 2 exactly, which is 0 and 32. And then what we'll do is make another hash. Actually, in that case, I should just put this in here, huh? specific components with multiple component types. And for this, we will say render component as well. And so that, oh, whoops. Actually, let's do it the other way. Let's do this one as render component. So it includes more. Okay, so now it's going to include 0, 0 from two of them. Maybe we'll offset it. 8 plus. And then we should include, well, we're doing a query, so that's okay. Okay, so we'll have 0, 0, 8, 8, 16, 16. 40 or 32, 32 from here, and then 40, 40, 40 from this one, and then 48, 48, and that should be it. How many was that? I think it's 6. I think that's 6. This one, when we do render component and physics component, that should only be 2. No, we failed. Well, we got 1, but not the other. So this one says 0. Okay, so let's look at this. Figure out what's going on. Oh, you know what? It's because I don't think we have anything that render component and physics component. Yeah. I think the problem is that before we do this, I need to do world add query group, get component bits, like that. Might want to change it, so yeah, I don't know, maybe. Okay, let's see if that works. Nope. The answer is no. Well, we'll see what's happening here. Query with entity bits. Let's just jump to there. Okay, here are the bits. Is a 1, 1 or 0, 1, 1. Okay, world dot contains. Okay, yeah. So I don't think that one will. Okay, maybe I have to like dive into that. Index. Are there any that have that? Oh, it would be the latter ones, right? 1, 1, 0. Oh my gosh. Guys, yeah, I need to do something with my life. Wait, how is this passing then? I must have like grossly miscalculated what this is supposed to be. Because I wasn't even creating. Oh no, I was creating. Okay, no, that's right. That makes sense. Because I was just creating them with the wrong type. I wasn't creating any entities that have a physics component. Okay. It's failing still. 4, 6. Oh, so now that's failing. I feel like this is a bad way to write tests or something. Maybe I didn't simplify it, this setup enough. Well, we're at least really going through it and making sure that's working. Yay. Okay, I don't care about all that. I just wanted to go into my function. Okay, there we go. So 0, 2. Here are the cells. So we don't have any at... that's weird. We should have one at 8, 8. Right? Populate. Okay, so maybe this contains is wrong. And it's requiring it to be exactly that. Let me get to that point. Okay, so now what we'll do is let's look at all of our entity bits. Wait, it only has 10. Okay, that's definitely a tell that something is wrong here. It failed to create these or something. Huh? Yeah, that is definitely wrong. Okay, maybe I need to make sure I test something else instead then, because I don't know what's going on here. So we have 10. It says, okay, create a new one. It's at 10. Push back. Now we have 11. Oh, perhaps I wasn't actually where I thought it was. Maybe that's what happened. Okay, that was the case. 101. 101. I should have 111. Oh no, man, I don't know what's wrong with me today. Yeah, I woke up at 6 this morning with like a leg cramp. It's a pretty bad leg cramp too. You know, like whenever your leg like tightens up really hard and like just like spasms. So I was awake from 6 and then I worked out in the yard for a few hours. And I guess I'm more tired than I thought, or something. Like everything, I think every single time it was right. All the code was right, or almost every time. It was that I was just not writing the test correctly. Well, we finally got that working. I need to pay more attention to what I'm doing, I guess. Yes, we got it working though. So that's cool. What this means is that we can say, hey, we only want to like populate this with entities that have a render component and a physics component, and it will do that for us. So we can do that for, you know, a combat system or the physics system, where we're like, hey, we only care about entities that have a physics component within this area, and it will be able to this hash map will be able to query exactly that, which is, I think, going to be very powerful, very cool. Anyone here familiar with Python and the command line? I'm trying to run a Python script, but it accepts a path as an argument. Yeah, you can do something like this. Where is the archiver, right? I think this accepts a path. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. What's path release? Arg. Okay, actually, maybe this doesn't take a path. Well, we can look at this release when this is the same thing. It's just the path. So all you really want to do is something like this, like a sys argv. So you can do sys argv, and that will give you whatever's passed in. And then you could check to see if that is a path. You could, you know, with like os.path.exist, I think, and that'll do it for you. Sys argv, and then from the command line, it would just be like Python, you know, test.py space, and then the path, the first arg. Okay, so let's wrap it up. So we finished our spatial hash today, which is awesome, and it looks great. The exact functionality that we have right now is that we can initialize a hash and then populate it, passing in the world, and it will add all of the entities using the world, and then you can do a query on that spatial hash for an area, and then be able to iterate over the entity and do whatever you want with it. So it might be useful for like a mouse click, which would be actually pretty similar to something like this. If you clicked at 2525, we would have, you know, the width and height is this one, and we would probably want to call it. So that would mean that the entity would have to be within that. So that actually figures out, like, is the entity on this position? And then that would give you all the entities that you just clicked on. And if you want to like look for a specific thing, like, hey, I only want to look for entities that have a item and a physics component, then you could do that. And it could also be useful for when we are checking collision. If we're moving an item and we want to check to see if it is like colliding with another item or something, we could just say, hey, if this entity's area, you know, pass in the bounds for that entity, we could, maybe we want to call it, I don't know if we do, but we could pass it in, and then that would give us all the entities that are nearby. If we want to cull it, then we could cull it. If we're like doing collision, we probably want to cull it. If we want like something else, like maybe for gravity, I mean, like if other entities have like a gravitational pull or something, then we wouldn't want to query. Like let's say that we have a little item that spawns that like moves towards the player after some amount of time, we would maybe just query within some area or something. Maybe we want to call it, maybe we don't. I don't know. But yeah, that's what we can use it for. And if we need to get a specific component for the entity, we can do that. Yeah, I think in that case, well, here, let me wrap it up. I'm going to close it, and then I can help you official sound. So yeah, that's going to be it for today. I will be back tomorrow afternoon. I might be a little late tomorrow. I don't think so, but maybe. Going to go hang out with a friend in the morning. And we'll probably start making use of this spatial hash. Maybe we'll make a system, another system or two that we can use. I was thinking of making it so we can like check to see if there's an entity that we're hovering over, and then like maybe do something with it, just to like kind of test things a little bit more, and then we'll go from there. So yeah, thank you guys for joining. I appreciate it, and I hope you all have a good rest of your day. Take care.